welcome to us answering your rudest questions.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. All those questions that people start with, I don't want to be rude, but...
Oh yeah. Did I get asked that? It's more just like you that gets asked that. Don't mean to be rude, but like, do you always dress like that? Don't mean to be rude, but like...
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Don't mean to be rude, but you don't sound deaf.
Yeah,
What do people say to me?
Well, we'll find out. I ask people on Instagram. Anyway, as I was saying, most of these questions are fine and they're things that I'm quite happy answering. Some of them I'm going to blatantly ignore. But
I think
we'll see.
It's good to encourage, unless it's obviously being said from a bad place, like a malicious place, or being rude or bullying, questions should be encouraged because people don't realise what they're asking is potentially wrong.
Sure. No, but
Sure, whatever.
No, I'm agreeing. Because also I have a YouTube channel where I talk about disabilities and chronic illness and LGBTQ plus things. And being open with that is what I'm here for.
It should always be about openness because like when you did that video of Ash, for instance, they were like, yeah, no, I welcome more questions even if like they seem a bit like un-PC or, you know, it's the wrong terminology. It's better because then it gives you a chance to educate someone, and the whole point of them watching your channel and asking you questions is for that purpose. So if you were constantly like, oh, you just don't know anything, I'm not gonna
questions.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's very closed-minded.
Indeed, we're being open-minded and we're gonna dive straight in. So,
what's wrong with you?
Wow,
direct.
I didn't expect that to be the first question.
Very direct.
Yeah, okay.
Who's that aimed at?
Wow.
You, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm guessing me.
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Nothing,
I've asked
darling.
myself that
You're
question.
perfect.
Oh,
just the way you are.
thank you. You're perfect too.
Oh.
I mean, apart from a few like genetic flaws.
Yeah, I have a thing called hereditary neuropathy with liability to pressure palsies, which is a neurological condition, and I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. It affects many things in my life. You know, I made a video called My Disabilities, but it's now incorrect. Should I just make another video?
Do you ever get a bit like, oh, I just can't be, like when someone goes, what is wrong with you? Just your heart just kind of sink a bit because you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have to like,
okay, here we go.
Yeah, and then they just like,
and then you don't sound dead. Always the follow-up. And you're like, yeah. I have to say, most of these are actually really lovely.
Okay.
Which is very sweet. Okay, I don't mean to be rude, but why are you sick all the time? Because I have a chronic illness. Well, yeah. So my disabilities that I have inherited, the aforementioned ones, which maybe I'm now realizing I should make just a little video about that's like an obvious thing. Anyway, they have associated symptoms which I class as being chronically ill because they essentially make you unwell all the time. Things like chronic fatigue and chronic pain and the terrible immune system, those types of things.
Yeah.
So because I'm just always kind of ill.
Having a chronic illness is pretty tough, really, isn't it? I bet as a child it is annoying. You must ask yourself, why am I always sick all the time? If you're someone with a chronic illness. It's like, most people like can get over it. You know, the longest they're ill for is like 2 weeks.
You're like, oh, for God's sake, why again?
I mean, you have your ups and downs as well.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm not saying I'm always ill. But I'm not always really bad. Let's qualify. Chronic illness, not the same all the time. Generally changeable, which almost makes it worse. Like if I just had a mild cold all the time, I think that would be easier. Because I'd always have a mild cold. That would just be my thing.
Yeah, I guess being chronically ill and you're losing a lot of energy level all the time, your body has a lower immunity because it's constantly having to fight.
Repair itself.
So then you're more likely to catch like common colds.
I don't mean to be rude, but I'm afraid of losing your sight since you're blind in one eye. Can you learn Braille? No, should I be?
I'm just staring at you because I know that's not true. You are afraid of that. You're just trying to be brave.
I told a lie! I was brave and I told a lie. Yes, of course I'm scared of that. I'm very scared of that.
Yeah, when you get a really bad migraine and you can't open your left eye, you get quite worried about it.
My right eye.
Oh yeah.
The left one's blind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm blind in this eye. I get scared that this eye will go blind from a migraine, much like the other one did.
It's also because, you don't really know, and again, the doctors don't really know why you suddenly lost your vision in that eye. They're just like, that's very unusual.
It's really
It could happen to your other eye at any point, because we don't know why it happened to the other one. That's pretty much what they've said.
Thanks. Doctors are wonderful.
It's like, okay. I mean, you could learn Braille any time, couldn't you? Really?
I don't think I could feel it.
Oh, I mean, like, could you learn Braille?
Could
I thought
one
it was
learn
like,
Braille?
I thought anyone can learn Braille.
I'm sure
I know
anyone
that's not
could learn
true.
Braille.
Yeah, maybe you couldn't. Oh, you could feel it with your lips. You're very got tactile. You're
That's
very
true.
good.
That's true.
I mean, that would be
Yeah,
a bit
one
weird,
of
though,
these
wouldn't it?
is
Just go up to like an elevator and be like.
Maybe we don't do that. One of these questions is, I don't mean to be rude, but how do you talk to Claudia in the dark? And that relates to the sensitivity that we're talking about. Because while I'm not going to go and rub my lips on a lift in the night,
You do rub
when
your
it's
lips
dark,
on me.
you
Yeah.
rub your lips on me. So I can understand what she's saying. So she'll like talk into
I was gonna say, and you
my
rub your lips on
shoulder.
me, but I can hear what you say, so you don't need to do that unless you're just being
That's
sensual.
just
That's for fun. That's just for fun.
family friendly, family friendly. Don't need to be demonetised for Christmas.
People just can kiss. We're a married couple.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry.
Oh, what else are you talking about?
Nothing.
Oh.
So we communicate through Claudia talking into my skin. And it's like if you ever played that game in the dark where your friend draws letters on you, it's a bit like that.
I love, like, it's weird. I don't like people doing my hair. I don't like people doing
Yeah.
my makeup. But I love people, like, touching my skin. Like,
You love me touching your head. You go to sleep every
Yeah, but
night
that's
with
like-
me
okay, like
stroking your head.
yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
true.
you're
But that's
talking
you. You're
about.
the only one I like touching my head in that way. But I love massages, and I used to love, I still love, that game where it's like, you draw a word. Because, like, you know, when like sleepovers, I'd be like, draw a word on my back. And then I'd be like, I don't know, you have to do it again. Even though I clearly knew it said cat. But anyway.
So, were you just getting girls to touch you?
Family friendly. Moving on. I don't mean to be rude, but why doesn't Claude wear makeup?
Well, like she should.
Are you saying I should? Yeah, it's kind of like, what the hell? Look at
I don't mean to be rude, Claudia, but like, you need some foundation.
I do wear makeup sometimes.
You do?
I always wear, well, I often wear a little bit.
Yeah, you just can't tell.
I
She's
just
very
wear subtle
naturally
makeup.
Beautiful. To be honest, you look exactly the same. when
I
you
just
put
don't really
makeup
feel
on.
like me with lots of makeup on.
I don't mean to be rude, but why your and Claudia's French is so bad? British school system. That's all I can tell you.
Well, so she's deaf. She can, you know.
Oh yeah, perfect excuse.
And I'm not even fully English.
Whoa, no, lady, you cannot use that.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, I struggle with the English language. I had to have
It's
speech
true.
therapy when I was younger, and I still have like issues with language. Like it's a bit like dyslexia, but like with spoken language. I get the words mixed up, and it's just I often like swap the letter from the one word to the next round.
yes, or a word that is a similar thing, like potatoes and tomatoes. So you'll say, "Can you pass me the potatoes?" And you're pointing at some tomatoes.
Oh yeah, no, I still do that. Yeah, I used to get that really mixed up when I was little. Potatoes, tomatoes, sausages. For some reason, they're all one
It's
thing.
much worse when you're tired.
I don't know why they're all breakfast brunch things.
I don't mean to be rude, but is it hard using the bathroom with your disability? Actually, people ask me this a lot.
I would say, yeah, with the disability of like humongous petticoats, it is. Sometimes you can't even get through in those tiny cubicles. It's just like.
That's true. That's true. You have to squeeze around the door. But in terms of my other disabilities, yeah, I mean, I paralysed my arms for 1.5 years. So going to the toilet was a fun experience.
I mean, I'm just agreeing. I wasn't there at the time.
No, you weren't. Yes. Yeah, sometimes my hands don't work particularly well. Yeah. Sometimes I can't sit up very well. So yeah. You're very useful though. She's good at like lifting me.
Propping you up.
She's incredibly strong for such a tiny person.
I don't want to be rude, but how does it feel not being able to hear the voice of your love, Claudia?
Aww. Well, with my hearing aids, I kind of hear, it's not like perfect words, and it's not all words, and it's all one monotonous tone.
To be fair, I think a lot of people say that about my voice anyway, so. Well, it's all just one monotonous tone.
But I love...
Maybe that's why most people find my voice quite like boring. I have like, especially in a crowded room or when there's a lot of background noise,
Yeah.
my voice gets lost a bit. But like, you find it great because your hearing aids pick it up perfectly.
I find you constantly fascinating.
Oh, thanks. I don't mean to be rude, but how are you able to have sex with your disability?
Wow, I didn't know you were going to go for a sex one. All right.
Oh, okay, we'll move on. Is that
No,
too
no.
rude?
I mean, we're being honest and open. Honest and open. Is
I just thought it referred a bit like
the
that
thing
time
of the day.
you had
Yes.
that round table discussion with Hannah Witten.
Oh yes, I did.
And you basically discussed all of that quite openly with lots of other people with disabilities of different types.
Yeah.
So if you want to know the answer to that, go check out that video.
Yeah, I'll put it in the card above. It's right there. There you go.
Yeah.
Can learn about sex and disabilities.
Don't want to be rude, but what do you guys use in your teeth? They're so white.
They are. Married to a dentist.
Yeah. Don't mean to be rude, but do you dye your hair at home or at a salon?
I mean, that's not particularly rude.
She doesn't dye her hair.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
A natural colour.
Yeah. No. Claudia does it for me from a box.
Yeah.
That they've now discontinued.
That's why it's a slightly different colour.
It's a drama, guys. My hair has been discontinued.
I like it. It's nice, but we need to redo it.
Yeah, we do.
Your roots are showing. Here you go. Don't mean to be rude, but why do you dress like that?
Oh wow, did someone actually say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they might not have said it in that way. I just did it in a ruder way.
I dress like this because it makes me happy. Because I really enjoy this specific type of fashion upon my body. And every time I look in the mirror, it makes me glad. And just, I can fluff around in petticoats and I'm just genuinely so happy all the time. Also, it's a great talking point. So you can easily break into a conversation. And people stare at you for nice reasons rather than because you've fallen over.
There's quite a few sex ones here.
Oh.
Don't mean to be rude, but why are you in a chair if you can walk?
Oh, okay. A lot of people who use wheelchairs are actually what is called ambulatory wheelchair users, which means that although they use a wheelchair, they can stand and walk for varying amounts of time. Might be just a little bit, maybe just a transfer, or it might be that they can walk around very slowly, but if they need to get far distances, then they use a chair. So I tend to use a chair for things like traveling to London, which is exhausting for me. And I've been doing that with the chair nowadays since I got it in my little mobility series. If you watch that, you'll know that I bought a chair. It's so good. Very happy, and it really has revolutionised my trips because the amount of energy that they take out of me is so much less.
Don't mean to be rude, but did you ever find birth control pills to help you with your periods after that talk you did in Malaysia?
Yeah.
Remember you did that?
Yeah. So I tried 2 different types of pills. I don't remember what they're called, but
I think one was like Vinel.
So I tried one type, and it was terrible for my mood.
Yeah.
I only took
would
it
come
for 2
home and
weeks.
she'd be like crying in the bath. And I'd be like, what's happened? Nothing.
I was just like, this is it. I don't care if the world ends.
God, yeah.
Claudia was like, we're going to take the pills
Yeah, that was
away
definitely
from you now.
not you.
This is not good. And then the other type I tried, I took for 6 months, and my period, nothing changed. I still have my period. I still have my migraines. It feels like quite a scary thing to mess around with birth control, like try and find something that works, especially if I'm gonna have side effects from it. And then maybe I'll just still have my periods and migraines anyway. I'm like trying to find the time. To try birth control. If you're very confused and you're just joining us, I am a lesbian. This is my wife. I don't need birth control for that reason.
Well, the next
I just need it
question
for my migraines.
was, don't mean to be rude, but when are you guys having babies? We plan to, because we can control the exact date and time in which it will be conceived.
No, we can't.
Why not?
We can hope. We can't.
No, we can plan.
It will definitely work.
We can plan.
Yeah.
We can be like, it's going to happen this month at this time, or it's not. And then if it doesn't happen, it's like, well, it's going to happen this time.
The next month,
or the next birth. I only realised, I mean, it's a bit stupid, but you can only get pregnant like 12 times in a year.
There are only 12 chances, my love. You can't get pregnant 12 times.
That's what I meant. Don't mean to be rude, but how does C cope with not infantilizing you and being an equal partner? That's such a, I think that's a weird question, personally, because,
I don't think that's a weird question, because it's come up a lot.
Oh.
And I think it's an understandable fear.
I don't infantilize you at all.
You really don't.
I do the opposite. I do the opposite. I'm like, I make her like mother me. I'm like,
I need Jessie. Make it better.
Yeah.
Let me lie on your shoulder.
Yeah.
But it is an understandable fear and concern.
I guess when you're
it's one that I had before we got together.
When you're really in need, I actually I don't even do our little baby voice anymore. When we do a affectionate chat to each other, I actually am even more
for doing this.
Stern, like, grown-up voice, aren't I?
Yes. How do you avoid infantilizing someone if you're doing things for them? I think ask them things at the same time, because that's what you do. You'll be like helping me because I'll be in need. So you're like helping me to the toilet, for instance. And then at the same time, you're like telling me all your problems.
I think it's like a state of mind, probably, on the person that's helping.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't believe, that's why it's hard for me to fathom it as a question, that someone an adult that requires help resembling a child in any way.
No, maybe it's just about the right person, which seems like a cop-out answer, I realise.
It's like, well, you know...
But I think it's about finding someone who doesn't act like that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have had to, like, care for their parents as they get older or unwell. Like, in my case, my mum was dying of cancer. I had to help her a lot with the same sort of things I had to help you with, like dressing, bathing, eating, you know, getting her off the floor if she couldn't manage going up the stairs, you know. And never once, because she's my mother as well, never once did I think, like, our roles had somehow reversed.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know, maybe you have to look after someone who you've always looked up to, or you don't have to, but maybe it helps.
Yeah.
To then, when you then have to help some other adult in your life, you don't...
I think it's also a personality thing.
I think it's a personality thing as well.
Which is unhelpful, because then all my advice is like, find the right person.
There's lots of us out there.
Yeah, there are lots of good ones.
Yeah, most people are probably like, well, not infantilise, I don't think.
Just ignore the rotten apples.
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't mean to be rude, but why have you shaped your eyebrows like that? Does it make it easier to fill them in with makeup? They just fell out, okay? They're gone.
Oh.
And I'm gonna get them microbladed so they look like this all the time.
Sorry to be rude. Like, this person's like, don't want to be rude, but do you guys have a sex life? And then said, sorry if it's too imposing. It's like...
Yes, we do. There you go. So again.
How do you do so much when you're disabled?
That is such a good question.
It is.
Because people
I'm
say
always
this
wondering.
all the time.
I'm like, why don't you just go back to your box and like suck on your dummy?
She is kidding.
I'll
she has
change
a humour that not everyone understands. Please don't worry about her. Anyway. People comment this all the time, like, how do you do so much? And you're always doing stuff. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like that to me. I leave the house once a week.
You are a very impressive person. I think it's, again, your personality.
Thank you.
You are just very driven, motivated, and passionate. And like, she gets so frustrated when she's got a day in bed that the next day she like does more than most humans would be able to do, but then she has to take the following day off. It's just like really silly, because I'm like, if you just did a little bit each day, you'd probably be okay.
Jessica's pacing is just all over the place.
Yeah. But also, like, sometimes, some days you have really bad days and you don't always see that because it's
difficult then to show.
You won't be able to
Not because
film.
I don't want to show it, but because it's literally very difficult to hold in my mind, like, oh, create an Instagram story about how you're feeling terrible right now.
You still manage to sometimes, but you'll post like a picture from another day and then just be like, I'm really not doing it, but then comment on it, like...
I think it's really important to show when you're not feeling good, because then other people who aren't feeling good know that they're not alone. I don't mean to be rude, but do you ever have to take care of Claudia?
Yeah.
all the time.
Hello,
and I love it.
You're right.
Huh?
Are you alright?
Yeah, my head hurts.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bye.
You're just not responding correctly to things. Okay, we're gonna go now.
Ow.
I think you need to eat dinner.
Bye, and
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh wait, we're supposed to say like, subscribe. Bye-bye.
Oh, okay. I've never once said that, you know.
What?
I've never said that.
You've never said that word?
No, actually, that might be a lie. Someone's going to find an episode when I
Please find where Claudia has said subscribe.